Welcome, everyone, to tonight's first installment of Writing Cultures. My name is Rodney Rodriguez. I'm professor and also the department head in English, and I want to thank you all for attending, students, community members, faculty, staff, and our distinguished guests. Thank you so much. This speaker series was titled Writing Cultures in order to remind us of at least two important ideas regarding the various acts that are involved with writing. First, that the writing that we learn and do from early youth through adulthood cultures us. That is, writing teaches us. And we teach through writing how to communicate and express our wants, our needs, our understandings, our opinions, our loves, our dislikes, and so many more things. Secondly, writing cultures represents the idea that cultures are created and defined by the types of writing that occur within given cultures. We can identify cultures in education, in professional areas, creative areas, religions, civic organizations, interpersonal relations, as well as even in individualist cybercultures, just to name a few, within our larger cultural sphere. I personally have learned through my education and through my various uses of writing to communicate at various levels of necessity. And by virtue of these many acts of writing, I've also become associated with a system of education for which I am very truly grateful to be a part of here at Long Beach City College. Writing cultures is also both particular to and very general at the same time for our purposes here. It is particular to our 11 sections of English composition, the classes that are part of our multicultural cohort. This cohort has been generously funded through one of California student equity grants, part of a statewide initiative to fund innovative programs, services, and pedagogy throughout higher education. But writing cultures is also general in our approach. Our goal here is to spur all individuals interested in engaging and re-engaging with the act of writing across the Long Beach City College community, campus, the entire community of Long Beach. We welcome everyone here who is here tonight not only just to listen and be informed, but to hopefully engage and re-engage with acts of writing, its cultural aspects. And hopefully we'll also return to our next three events, which are in the process of being engaged in October, November, and December. So tonight, we are very, very fortunate to have six speakers who will be talking about writing, how it has cultured them, and how they have become parts of cultures because of their writing. Before I introduce our guest speakers, I want to acknowledge some faculty, staff, and students who are involved in this important cohort. First, I would like to thank Dean Karen Rothstein and Professor Shauna Hageman, who were not able to attend, but they are part of the Student Success Committee here at Long Beach City College. They are in charge of administering the equity grants. They've been very helpful in providing the funds for this cohort. Secondly, Rihanna Wong, who is the administrative assistant to Dean Rothstein, who wasn't able to attend tonight either, but she has been, if you know the type of work that these people do, the most important part of getting this together, and we do thank her very, very much. We want to thank S&B Catering for the things that they are providing here for our remuneration, our refreshments before and after the event. We want to thank our facilities team for setting up the room, and also our instructional media production services. And just to let you know, this event is being videotaped and audio taped, so it is only going to be used for educational purposes, but it will be available on our Long Beach City College website YouTube channel for later viewing. Next, let me also introduce from the English department, who in only her second year as a full-time faculty member here at Long Beach City College, wrote the awarding grant and winning grant for the multicultural cohort. She developed the multicultural cohort curriculum, and she is also the lead faculty member for this cohort, Professor Belin Kobian. Please stand. Secondly, we have 4 other instructors who are also part of our team of cohort instructors. I would like to recognize Marcus Clayton. Marcus, raise your hand back there. Sarah DeCero, she's back there as well. Claire Polonis. And Robert Nice. There are 11 separate English composition sections involved in this creative pedagogy. That means over 300 students are participating in the learning of this themed cohort. We know that all of them could not be here for other obligations, but those of you who are involved in this cohort, would you please stand and be recognized? Come on, don't be bashful. We know you're a lot of here. All the students in the cohort, stand up. Students, stand up. Come on. There are a lot more of you here being very bashful. Let's go. I know there are a lot more of you out there. In each of these courses, about 2 weeks into the semester, the professors ask their students to write a short essay on the effects of writing in their lives. And tonight we have one representative from one of the classes who will be reading to us. Let me introduce this participant for you. His name is Vicente Alejandre. Vincent is from Long Beach, California. He's currently unsure about his major, but he is considering majoring in history. He's planning to transfer to either Cal State Long Beach or West LA College, but we hope he'll finish here at LBCC before he goes to state. He's passionate about history and what we can learn from it, and is thinking of becoming either a historian or a history professor. Vincent.
Good evening. The power behind writing. Writing can impact society greatly. Many times in the past, writing has impacted and changed society. When the Declaration of Independence was drafted and signed, it had caused society in the colonies to change, eventually becoming what it is today. Through the power of writing, the colonies had demonstrated and stated its independence from the oppressive and tyrannous monarchy of Britain, inciting a revolution, which gave us natural rights and equality. There was a time in the past where the church had held great power in Europe, but that changed when a priest named Martin Luther had translated the Bible from Latin to the vernacular. People were able to interpret the Bible themselves, forever changing society nearly on a global scale. When a writer bears his or her soul, there's a chance he or she can reach the minds of the masses, creating a chance for change. Writing can very well impact society. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. We do have a second student reader who just arrived, and I would like to introduce Rumaidi Pumarejo Serrano. Rumaidi was born, come on up. Rumaidi was born and raised in Puerto Rico. She moved here almost 3 years ago when her father, who serves in the US Army, was transferred to California. She's very passionate about fighting injustice committed against any person in the world. She's currently studying foreign languages and politics, and her long-term goal is to become an international lawyer. So, Charisma, you might want to talk to this in English. She believes that becoming a professional means that she'll fulfill her desire to become a tool for society. Rumaidi.
Hi, everyone. When I think about writing and the impact that it has on society, I think about history and the beginning of it. I think about cultures and their traditions and about the human evolution in terms of their thoughts and ideas. First, when I say that writing had an impact on history, I must clarify that it was not only an impact, but also the reason why we know our history today. Writing made possible for us to know how the world used to function thousands of years ago till this day. Second, I mentioned cultures because thanks to the people who dedicated their life to writing, our society has been able to learn and understand other cultures and their traditions. How is this possible? Well, when we read Native American stories or a French poem, a Latin novel, or some kind of popular legend from a certain culture, we're able to see how they live, how they see life, and we are also able to learn about their ideas and their culture. Now, my third point is the human evolution, and I mean it in the cultural way, social and ideal way. Through the course of history, society has experienced changes in our government system, our social behavior, rules and norms, even in art. All of these have been influenced by different ideas and beliefs that people have shared with us through their words. All of these have been giving me the reason to think about Plato, Aristotle, Machiavelli, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Lola Rodriguez de Tio, Borges, Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, and a lot of others that have communicated their thoughts and ideas through their writing. I can definitely see their huge impact in this world, and in our society. Writing is definitely society's most powerful weapon, and I think that sharing our thoughts and learning about others, it's how we grow and how we evolve thanks to, obviously, the writing that we have shared or read. It is important to understand the value that writing has in society, and we must always keep it as part of our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent and Rumaidi. Now I want to introduce our distinguished speakers and panel. I believe for this first part of the program, I would like to introduce each speaker one at a time, and then the speaker will spend 2 or 3 minutes answering. They have sort of a set program that Berlin asked them to talk about how writing affects them, and well, I think they have the questions. They know. I'll just let them speak. But let me first introduce Charisma Justice. Now, I do have a few things to say about Charisma. She's our panelist who describes herself as a down-to-earth professional, relatable, and an entertaining speaker. She professes the importance of communication skills, especially public speaking, which is something she's extremely passionate about. Charisma is a former military brat hailing from North Carolina, whose family finally settled on making Long Beach, California, a place called home. She attended one of our neighboring schools, Lakewood High, obtained her Bachelor of Arts of Political Science from Cal State Dominguez Hills, and recently completed a master's in public administration from Keller Graduate School of Management. Charisma has been in the automotive industry for nearly 20 years and is currently employed with Mitsubishi Motors North America as a senior franchise development specialist. When she isn't working her magic within the walls of corporate America, she stays involved in a variety of activities such as youth leadership training workshops, youth sports, and other community outreach events. Learning is a never-ending adventure in Charisma's eyes, which extends far beyond that of the classroom. She's continued her personal goal of improving her communication skills by being an active member for over 15 years in Toastmasters International, one of the largest and most well-known public speaking organizations in the world. She believes if you have a vision and are willing to do the work to make that vision reality, you will become a resource without limits. Please join me in welcoming Charisma Justice.
That nod means it's showtime, right? I have a very loud voice, so let me know if I'm blowing up your eardrums. You can wave. He's holding his ear. Am I too loud? I'm good? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming out, and I first want to thank Long Beach City College and Ms. Berlin Cobian for inviting me. Thank you so much. Writing, of course, everyone knows the reason we're here tonight is to explain the importance of writing across different careers. But before I go into that, I'll just give you a little introduction about myself. Most of it was included in the bio and the introduction. Public speaking is a probably understated passion of mine. I love it. Any type of communication, whether it's verbal, written, it all kind of gels together. And as you're going through life, you're going through class, you're going through your careers, you will see that they're one and the same. So that's something that I'm extremely passionate about. And again, I'm so thankful to have been invited here. I should probably look at the question. No one remembered. Okay, so no one will fault me for having a little cheat sheet here about what it is. So a little bit about my background. Again, I work for Mitsubishi Motors North America. It's an automobile company. In case you're not familiar with some of the products that we make. For the younger group, if you've heard of the Lancer Evolution, tuners, racing cars, we make that car. We make the Lancer, a couple of other things. And I got my start in the auto industry working for American Honda, starting out in a call center. How many of you as students in here are working, doing some type of customer service, receptionist, right, it drags. and believe it or not, writing is something that was very important in that particular career. So that's how I got my start in the auto industry, working in a call center. Now, you might ask, what does writing have to do? You're answering the phone, you're talking to customers. Well, guess what? You need to be able to write, document, everyone sees what you're putting in a computer, executives, if there is a legal issue, and I'm sure the attorneys here will talk about the importance of that later on. All of that can come up. And the one thing that stood out for me at a young age, the importance of writing, is it's a reflection of who you are, and it's a reflection of your organization. As an African American woman, I have to say there's going to be a certain expectation, or maybe even a stigma, that might come along with me being an African American woman. I might be expected to talk a certain way, or maybe even write a certain way. So for me, it was more of a personal goal to make sure that I overcame that. That was just a personal goal. You set whatever it may be for you, but that was the most important thing. From there, I went on to Mitsubishi Motors, and how I ended up getting that job was writing, and let me tell you why. There's a saying that goes, if you can talk, you can write. Let me say it again, if you can talk, that means you can write. And I kind of thought maybe I can talk my way out of most things, or I can write myself into or out of most things. So going from the call center career, starting off young, I wanted to get into mediation. And that's actually how I ended up at Mitsubishi Motors Mediation. And that involves lemon law. Have anyone ever heard of lemon law? You buy a lemon, you buy a car. Okay, a couple of hands in the air. And that's something, again, it kind of touches on what the attorneys did, but I had absolutely no experience with mediation. All I knew is, okay, if someone doesn't like something, they contact Mitsubishi, they want their money back. I mean, it isn't that simple. So having no experience in that field, what do? If you go into a job, you interview for something, how many of you actually apply for jobs that you're 100% qualified for? I'll wait. Exactly. Most times you may only have about 60% of the qualifications for that particular position. But what I learned, again, from the passion of writing is that I can write my way into anything. And a lot of these positions, especially the one with Mitsubishi Motors, required a writing sample. So how about that? You have no idea? Right, applaud. She's happy. Yes, we want to see writing. And let me know when I've gone over with the introduction. A couple more minutes? Okay, all right. So that's how I ended up at Mitsubishi Motors. I wrote my way into that position. I was asked to write a letter to a pretend customer and tell him why we're going to buy his car back. I don't know. I made a lot of it up, but what I wrote made sense. I kept in mind all of the basics of writing, structure. No matter what you're writing, you still need to have 3 components. What? You need to have your introduction, you need to have your body, you need to have your conclusion. And that's the exact same format that I use when putting in that letter. And then, of course, your supporting points. I mean, everything that we've learned since elementary is still going to follow you through life. So, again, I wrote myself into that job and successfully did it for about 9 years. I recently was promoted, what was this? I've been in my current position as a senior specialist now and franchise for about a year. And, again, I wrote myself into that position as well. And interested in knowing how I did that? Okay, here's what I did, and I'm kind of coined as a Norma Ray of a company. I don't know if you've ever been in a room and you just have something to say, and you're waiting for someone to say it, like, come on, get up, ask this question, say something. And everyone just sits there looking like, I'm not saying anything. You're looking around the room. And so in one particular instance, we had an all-employee meeting. We have all of our executives there. Half of our executives are made up of Japanese bigwigs, you name it, and I'm the only speck in the crowd, and they open it up for Q&A. Question and answer period can be dangerous. You never know what questions will come up. So I stood up, I asked my question, wondered if I would be walked out later on because no one had an answer for me, and about an hour or so later, the executive came up to me and he said, Charisma, your point sounds good, but can you put that in writing? Okay, sure, I'll put it in writing. And what I ended up doing at that point in time, which was probably the highest type of visibility that you can get, is I put together a proposal. I said, hey, we're employees here. Here are a couple of things that I suggest we do. Here is the impact or the benefit for employees. Here's the impact and benefit for the company. You write down everything as you would to get whatever it is that you want. I think that's more the mentality for me when it comes to writing. And so writing that, I'm giving the example and my scenario and my suggestions to the executives, but in the back of my mind, I'm writing to get a promotion. And later on, that came up during the interview, and that's how I ended up getting promoted to where I am now. So I think I'll stop yapping now and pass the mic down to Daniel. Thank you.
Thank you, Charisma. Now, let me introduce Daniel Favela. Daniel Castro Favela was born and raised in El Monte, California. He's a proud USC Trojan. Dun, da-da-dun, da-da-dun, dun. Okay. With a bachelor's degree in computer science, and he is a game development veteran, tempered in the halls of Blizzard Entertainment and Riot Games. By day, Danny is responsible for the technology at Lutzi, a startup in Los Angeles, as the director of engineering. On nights and weekends, he runs sessions encouraging fellow minorities to explore programming or individual projects through his one-man side company. You can follow him pretty much on social media platform, and I'll let him tell you how you can do that. Danny Favela.
Hey everyone, so first to end that note, my username on pretty much any social network is Hylian Danny, Hylian Danny. You can follow me. I'm sure everyone is, asking for follows, so I apologize for that. So going down these questions, so my career, what is my career? My career right now is I am the director of engineering at a little startup. And the service that we provide involves software that is built by multiple engineers, ideas that are come up with by multiple business people who say, hey, here's this need, here's what we think is gonna work. And in particular, just to give you a little bit of the gist, is when you use an app, you would get points, and then those points that you get as part of an achievement would be used for a real world reward. So you could get like a $5 gift card by using an app multiple times, that kind of thing. Now, that sounds cool, maybe, or maybe it's completely boring, but either way, it's an idea and it's a type of idea that comes up in software, in startups, especially in LA where we are. There's a lot of things that a lot of people want to do. And the real critical point, to draw it back to this session, is to be able to translate that into something that is written, documented, and understood by everyone who is making it. So that particular point is what distinguishes the people with ideas and the people who actually get things done. So that writing bit, that translation, that communication, because as Charisma noted, this goes hand in hand with the spoken, the verbal, the pitches that you might do in a startup pitch to investors who would be giving you money for your idea, and laying it out in written terms that can be easily understood, easily perused. That is what makes up communication. And communication is the only way you're going to get anything done with anyone else. So currently, as my job as director of engineering, I translate the business requirements, the desires, the ideas to engineering speak, which is a lot more technical. It's a lot more broken down into tasks that can be implemented, delivered, and take someone forward in how you make an app, how you create software. And if you've never done software before, the code that you write is literally like being a god within a machine. So you get to define a whole world, and some people use that power for making an app. Some people use it to make The Legend of Zelda on Nintendo. Some people use it for Angry Birds. It's all different, right? But you get to decide what that all is. So my job is to make sure that everything that gets written eventually ties back to the idea that is communicated for the business. So in terms of how I got that job, like it was mentioned, I grew up in El Monte, or in El Monte, so I can speak in the normal accents here. So back in El Monte, grew up Mountain View, high school, just a little kind of ghetto place where there were drive-bys and all the good stuff of youth. And then I graduated into USC, the University of Southern California. I was doing the marching band there, which some of you will recognize. It's very fun, very, right on. And so, as a part of that, I had a friend who did an internship at Blizzard Entertainment. When he did that internship, he ended up coming back and saying, hey, I know the server, the place where the Blizzard people play their game. And he said, you should play on that. And I did. So I did. I ended up getting into the guild, the group of people that play together to do the things in the game in order to achieve whatever is available in the game. And as a part of that, there's a chat feature. Again, a little bit of writing there. So this is where I would advise some of you to think as well. When you're writing, when you're taking part in the culture of what's online and these spheres of social networks, consider what you're actually saying and how you're being read. So the persona that you put forward there, is it a troll? Do people want to employ trolls? Are you someone who is competent? Do you use basic grammar? And the stigmas that Charisma also touched on, if you have that, and I do, Daniel Castro Favela, those are some factors that you can easily overcome just with writing, portraying yourself in a different light, in different places. So that's something to consider. And in this case, in these chat rooms, in this guild, I happen to portray myself sufficiently proficient so that when I reached out about an interview with the manager of the QA department who was in that guild, they said, yes, absolutely, please come on by, send along your resume, and we'll talk. That started off my career as a QA tester, and eventually they saw with my engineering degree and my engineering capabilities, my ability to do software development as an engineer. So once that happened, then Riot Games ended up pulling me away after they met me at what's called the Game Developers Conference, GDC, up in Northern California. If you're thinking about joining video games, there's usually student discounts, things like that, and all you need to do is apply. So I strongly suggest that you explore those options because you'll meet people like this. And so Riot Games met me. We liked each other. It was cool. It was magical. And so we ended up getting in touch later, and they ended up stealing me away from Blizzard Entertainment. After about 6 months with Riot, I ended up leaving to do my own little thing and doing a Kickstarter, which ended up getting into a technology where on a forum for one of the technologies I use there, I met up with the CTO of my current employer. And same thing, everything that went on there, I've now been at this startup for 2.5 years, and usually at startups, people come in and out 6 months, it's not really a long-term deal, but the difference there is that we very effectively communicate, and I finally had the chance to see all of the limitations back at Riot, back at Blizzard, things that I said, these things could be better. And if I got in at the ground floor, I can establish the patterns there. And now I'm doing those things at Lucy. And it's a lot of fun and a lot of power in that, to be able to say, here is the communication patterns, here's the delegation that goes on between the QA tester, between the person who says, what is this thing supposed to do in this software, in this app? What is the idea behind it, the overall usage for the customer? All of these things ended up getting me through to the career that I currently have. So the way that I use writing there is, as mentioned, emails between a lot of people, a lot of meetings, which a lot of public speaking factors end up coming in there. So all of these communication aspects end up being a part of the career as a director of engineering. And in particular, I don't know if I'm over yet. Just about? All right. One of the deals in particular, I had to break down with one of our partners who was a subsidiary of DreamWorks. In doing so, everything that was written had to be clearly articulated and dealt with because they were the ones who were doing work with us. And that led to whatever valuation we may have now, which I can't disclose, but in early 2015, publicly, we've raised about $3.5 million as the valuation of our company. So this is the importance and the value of writing, of communication. So do it.
Thank you. Our next panel member is Donato Clay. He joined Cedars-Sinai as an operations supervisor in June 2015, very recently, after receiving his master's in public health from the Fielding School of Public Health at UCLA. Prior to completing his master's in public health, Donato practiced military law in Los Angeles as a captain in the California Army National Guard, JAG Corps. Donato is also a graduate of Whittier College and the Southwestern University School of Law in Los Angeles. Originally from Houston, Texas, Donato is now proud to call Southern California his home. Welcome, Donato.
Thank you very much. So I wanted to start this off by saying, I remember when I was doing my bachelor's at Whittier, I went to a talk just like this. Always take the opportunity to do that if you can, because you never know where it's going to lead. But it was with the CEO of this real estate development company called the Irvine Group. And he talked about, you know, basically his career and all of the success he's had. And he's a Lumbee Indian, if anyone knows what that is. He's a Native American from a particular tribe in North Carolina, I believe. And said he already had a lot of things that he had to overcome in his life to get to where he is. But the one thing he wished that he had done when he was in school was study English. And he said that that level of communication, or having a strong level of communication, will get you farther in life than you ever think it will. And it resonated to me because here I am, I wanted to hear, you know, how did this guy get so rich? That's the only reason I went to that thing, right? Like, what was the secret? What did he have to do? And here he's saying, I wouldn't recommend studying business. I wouldn't recommend, studying finance. I would recommend studying English. And there is a lot of truth in that. I do want to say that, where I've gotten to where I am now is, as you've heard, I used to be a lawyer. It was okay. But I realized it wasn't what would make me happy. It wasn't what I wanted to do, so I went back to school. And part of what helped me do that, or part of what's helped me be successful in any stage of my life, has been that ability to communicate. Because when you're applying for anything, whether it's school, whether it's a job, the first thing that people are going to see is your application, right? And they're not going to see your face. They'll see your name, and they're going to see what you've written. And for some of us, we have names that are going to give us away. And as Charisma said, there's going to be certain stigma attached to that. And so the best way to differentiate ourselves is by showing that, maybe you're going to have this assumption about me, but I'm going to show that, I'm just as good or even better at whatever you're expecting me to do. So by a show of hands, how many people here grew up in immigrant households? I'm one of them as well. My parents are from Sierra Leone, which is a country in West Africa. It had been war-torn, and there was a lot going on there. My stepfather actually, funnily enough, I didn't find this out until 5 years ago, had hijacked a plane to get out of the country. Things were kind of crazy, but he ended up getting asylum in England and then came over to the U.S. in the late 80s. But growing up, that was the one thing that my parents always talked about was, you have to obviously focus in school, but writing is very important because you walk into a room and you've already got the cards stacked against you. So the best way of overcoming that is, again, I know I'm reiterating myself, but it's because I feel like it's important, is by showing that you are an effective communicator. Some people are great at talking. Some people love public speaking, and there are a lot of you, just by sheer odds, I know there's some of you here, if you're hoping that I'm not going to stand up and call on you and ask you to ask a question or answer one of my questions, right? But some of those same people are also very gifted writers, and they just either haven't flexed those muscles yet, or for whatever reason they don't want to entertain that type of communication. But it's very important to do that, because at any level, that is basically the only way that we can communicate, with one another. So for example, now I'm working at Cedars-Sinai. I'm an operations supervisor, and what that means is I manage a physician practice. I work with an orthopedic surgeon. His name's Dr. Robert Clapper. If you listen to ESPN radio, he's usually on Saturdays. He's the sports guy. And in that job, you think, okay, well, if I'm managing people who are front office, like I'm sure plenty of you have gone to the doctors before. You walk into the doctor's office and you expect that you're going to be taken care of. You expect, you're going there because you're sick or injured and you want to be taken care of. So how does writing fit into that? All I need to do is go and see the doctor. They'll tell me what I need to do or give me some medicine, and then I'll go home. Well, the thing that we normally don't realize is that there's a lot of writing that goes on in between that, because if you've come from a different doctor, we have to know what exactly you received there. We have to know if you're on any medication. We have to know whether or not we need to know the extent of your injuries or your illness and whatnot. So someone has to write that, and it exists at all levels of physician practice. So the person who's sitting at the front desk is going to take a note and say, all right, this person came in here and the doctor gave them this medication. But if they don't effectively communicate that, maybe it gets written as a different medication. Maybe you happen to be allergic to that medication. Now when someone reads your chart and you're at a different doctor and they don't know that you're allergic to a certain medication, it could end up killing you. And so I have to communicate that to people who never wanted to write, who said, all I want to do is, answer phone calls and, help this doctor's practice, without realizing just how important that their communication skills are, and that people's lives depend on that. So learning how to write effectively is very important. One of the things that helped me, I joined the Army in order to pay for law school. And it was the best decision I ever made in my life for many reasons. But one of them was it also helped me understand effective writing as well. So I don't know if there are any veterans in this room. Are there? Right. Can anyone tell me what a bluff is? The bluff? B-L-U-F. Does anyone know what the bluff is? Thank you. Can you say it louder? The bottom line up front. Why is that important? Okay, let's say you're in a deployed environment and an order has to come through. If you have to communicate effectively, you want the most important stuff to come out up front. Bottom line up front. Here's what we have to do. This is our objective. This is what we need to accomplish. That exists in every level of society. So I don't care if you're, if you're in a deployed environment, I don't care if you're working at Target. You need to learn how to effectively communicate because that has a direct effect on everything else that you do. In whatever organization you're working in and whatever you want to do in life, you have to have those skills. And so I just want to make sure that I'm communicating that aspect of it, which is don't ever think that writing won't be important for whatever you want to do. Maybe you don't need, I'm never going to write a book, I'm never going to be an author, but I have to communicate with people above and below me constantly. And whether or not that's family or friends or whomever, effective communication is key. So on that note, I think I'm going to end and pass things on to Danny.
Thank you. Thank you, Donato. Our next panel member is Denny Thong. Denny was born and raised in Anaheim, California. He received his Bachelor of Science from the University of California, Irvine. Let's give the sign. Go Zot. Yes. With a degree in Information and Computer Science. Denny began his career as a data analytics and business intelligence consultant, helping large corporations make sense of their information. Since then, he's moved into e-discovery, assisting large corporations with their complex litigation matters pertaining to digital evidence and information governance. Denny has co-authored a white paper and you can explain what that is for everybody, right? At KPMG about the benefits of technology-assisted review in today's changing e-discovery environment and big data. Denny is an active member of the Project Management Institute and enjoys spending his leisure time skiing at various resorts across the world. Welcome, Denny Hill.
Wow, tough panel to follow. I've known Charisma for a while, and I know what a great speaker she is, so hats off to you. Hi everyone, my name is Danny Tong. I'm a manager at KPMG, part of the Forensic Technology practice. What I do on a day-to-day basis is I manage corporate litigation projects focusing specifically on digital evidence, information governance, and legal technology.